Hello, my friends. I'm so glad you're back because today we're going to talk about how to get help with this whole marketing thing. Do you have to do this by yourself? Or can you get a couple pairs of helpful hands to jump in along the way? Good question. So the short answer is you don't have to do it alone, but the longer answer is you can do it alone. However, there are people who are trained and aware of how to help you with this. They have the skills and the knowledge, and perhaps they have some industry behind the scenes type of insights that come in handy, or they have some technical skills like, on the digital side of things. So let's jump into who might be helpful in this context of getting your book marketed so that people find you and want to buy your book. So you may have heard a couple terms. I want to throw them out and we'll start talking about them. But someone like a digital marketing consultant, a publicist, a content marketer, these might be a few people with titles that you may run across or have heard of that other authors have used to help them. Let's first talk about a publicist. This is something that I think there are some misconceptions around in the self-publishing world. And I want to just be very clear that no matter who you hire, they can't do it all for you. And certainly in your shoes as someone who is publishing a memoir and who is potentially unknown, remember that phrase I use with love to mean no one knows who you are really. You are not a famous person. You don't have millions of followers yet, right? So a publicist is not going to go the distance for you. I would steer you away from hiring someone with that title, mainly because they're going to cost way more money than they're going to be able to bring you back. The ROI is not there. They are really more for someone who has a highly marketable, highly sellable book that has, this person has like already a big platform and following that is roped into this. So it's, if you are an author who's kind of writing as a career, this might be a move you look at some point, but not for your first book or your only book, that type of thing. So a publicist is someone who can kind of open doors for you. They have connections, but they can't do it all for you. And for what they're going to charge, it's not going to be worth it. So let's get that one off the table. A content marketer is someone who you can hire to help you write content for your marketing. So think of like Facebook posts or Instagram posts. Maybe they prepare the images for you. Some of you may be similar to me and enjoy kind of doing the design. If you're a writer and you enjoy writing, maybe you want to do the writing for your marketing. So maybe a content marketer isn't the best fit for you. Others of you may be just like, I don't want to, like, I don't even know how to put together any marketing images or branding type of things. And it's so just beyond what you want to even deal with. That person may be able to give you a hand. Keep in mind with a content marketer that they are writing the material that you will use to connect with your audience. So if they don't know your voice, if they don't know your story, it's not going to do what you want it to do. So make sure that you're finding someone who you connect with authentically, that you are like, yeah, I have a really good vibe with this person. And they can kind of tap into your voice. They probably, I don't want to say like you should make them read your book, but they should probably understand a lot about your mission and your platform and who you're trying to reach and with what messaging. You probably will need to give them some material about your book, or again, they can read the entire thing. That would be helpful. But that's not necessarily what they need to know. They need to understand who you're trying to reach and with what message, that kind of big mission message. Remember your theme and your big promise with your book. And when we talked about who your readers are and what problems or issues do they have or desires do they have that they want your book to address, that's the type of thing that's going to go in your marketing messages that your content marketer needs to help you with. sometimes you hear the word like copywriter and stuff like that. They're kind of synonymous here, but a content marketer is really going to be someone who helps you prepare that content for your marketing materials. And then like a digital marketing consultant is a similar role. They have many fancy names for these things. I just wanted to kind of point out some of the more common ones. But with all of these roles or titles, just keep in mind that they won't go the distance for you. They can never, ever, ever, ever do all of this for you. They can do it with you. They can help. They can lend their expertise in one particular way. For example, I just chatted with a former client who said she hired a marketer to help plan and schedule a virtual book tour, but the rest of her marketing she's doing on her own. So might that be a benefit to you? Absolutely. If this is something you don't want to put energy into, or you don't have the skills or knowledge and you don't want to learn them or gain them, then hire someone who does. Keep in mind budget. Keep in mind your ROI on things like that. What do you want to put out there expecting to get back? Most of these hires you can do quite cheaply if you're strategic about it. Like, for example, a content marketer could do 1 post a week and you can fill in the gaps, maybe do another 2 or 3 yourself. So just understand how you want to approach them, but you can certainly get help with this. Now let's talk about people you don't pay. People that you can connect with that can help you with this, but you don't have to pay for them. Who are these magical people? Think of the word influencers. I'm sure you've heard of that term before, but this is like getting someone who's well known to, for lack of a better word, endorse your book, talk about your book, spread the word about your book. You're tapping into word of mouth, but you're tapping into someone who has a very far reach. So let's just say that your book talks about a topic that lives within a universe where I always pick on Oprah, where Oprah has a reach, and she may be someone who could benefit from connecting your book to her readers or her audience. Think of the benefit that your book brings to the influencer's audience. With an influencer, their job is to essentially feed information to their readers and keep them interested and continually engage these people. That's a lot of work. So if you're helping them with content, with a good book that their readership will benefit from, then I don't want to say you're doing them a favor, but you're bringing value to that influencer's world. You're not just knocking on the door and asking for a favor. That's not what this is. So think about the expert in the field, the few experts, well-known experts in the field of your book. And this might take some digging, and don't shy away from people you haven't heard of before. And maybe you start by just brainstorming. Well, what are the top 5-10 topics of your book? What are the top topics that you know are relevant within your book? Then you search the web, get on the interwebs, search social media, see what names pop up when you're like expert in this field, expert in this topic, whatever it is. They don't have to be doctors, they don't have to be like trained professionals necessarily, unless you're dealing maybe with a mental health issue, and that makes sense. You want someone trained and potentially, at that level. So what you want to do is find someone who's got the attention of people in your readership, because they're also seeking support, but it's not necessarily in the form of a book. Like, for example, if I am a chiropractor and I want to continually support my clients or my potential clients, I'm not going to be able to, adjust every single one of them, but I might be able to give them an article on correct posture, whatever. So, I'm always going to be looking for supportive material, supportive things to give my readership. And maybe there's complementary, oils and whatever, acupuncture, whatever modalities that help my readership. It's not the best example for your book, but just something to think about, how you don't have to be selling a book to an author or selling a book. You're not selling your book. You're selling support to their readership, and you're not really selling. But it is a pitch. You do need to ask them, will you, talk about my book, please? And typically you're sending them a copy of your book with a lovely note that says, oh my gosh, I just love what you're doing in this field. I'm on a mission to support these people as well. Here's a free copy of my book. I'd love it if you would shout this out to your readership. I think it would really benefit them, whatever it is. You're not bribing them necessarily, but they're maybe going to be interested in the book that they'd have to talk about, and they might be interested in reading it. So you're just showing up saying, hey, I got something that you might be interested in. Maybe give it a shot. And if not, totally yours to keep. You also can think of those who came before you. Authors who have written on your similar topic, think of those kind of top topics of your book. Maybe there are authors who have also written about that. It doesn't necessarily need to be a memoirist. It can be maybe nonfiction or even fiction. I don't know. It depends on the topic. But think of who came before you. If you can find a memoirist who came before you, figure out how they marketed it. What did they do to go from I don't have a platform, I don't have any sales of my book, to maybe very successful. So trying to emulate what they've done, but you can also connect with them. Might they want some additional material to support their current readership? Yeah, maybe. So it could be very beneficial for you to just stick your neck out there. That's what you're doing. You're getting out there and taking a risk and just asking, hey, would you mind, help, letting me know how, what did you find most successful in marketing your book? Just get out there and try talking with people, or seeing if they will help you by way of talking about your book. There's kind of two ways this goes. So that is the lesson for today. You can hire some helpful hands, or you can try to look for people who are willing to talk about your book in support of their own mission, or people who are willing to support you in kind of more of a mentorship role. Like, I've been there, done that. I've walked those dusty trails. Let me tell you what worked for me, which won't necessarily work for you, but it's better than doing it alone in the dark with your hands tied behind your back, right? So get out there, see what you can make happen. And in my next video, we're going to talk about a couple other ways to pitch yourself and just take the risk and get out there and try to make some waves, okay? I'll see you there.